podcast, brought to you by Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton, your Silverado headquarters, and the morning show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. June is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, and a local mental health professional is offering encouragement to the men out there. Tony Kirkman is the director of the Piatt County Mental Health Center and tells Regional Radio, men often are told to suppress their emotions. Then, when it comes time to deal with trauma or anxiety, they don't know where to turn.
Yeah, I think we don't do well with it. If we're looking at the population, the statistics, they say 20% of U.S. adults have experienced or will experience a mental health episode within the next year. And so, like anything else, if we would experience a medical condition, we probably should have that addressed. But sadly, as you mentioned, Seth, mental health does have a stigma, a strong stigma with men because, we've been told real men don't cry, just rub some dirt in it. Don't stop and ask for directions. All of the classic cliches that we try to jam into our young men that are developing. And then when they experience that, the reality is that they have a finite capacity, whether that's physical or emotional or mental, and we find out that we are beyond our capacity. One, we feel shame because we don't feel like we can ask for those things. And then secondly is because other men don't come forward and tell their stories. We don't even know where to start to get those issues addressed.
For Kirkman, people are designed to be social and be in a community that includes men. If therapy is necessary for you, he advocates for that, but he also encourages men to connect with one another.
Well, isn't our defined role to be protector and guardian? And we don't have time to deal with our issues. We're supposed to kind of sit back and be the protector of what's entrusted to us. And so whether that's property or people. So we're not really even supposed to focus in on us. And so I guess for me is, I appreciate, Seth, what needs to happen between men is what happened between you and I, where we just kind of talk about our stories and, talk about how to address our wellness. I'm not ashamed to say that I've participated in therapy. I think it's a good experience because as I said earlier, is I have a limited capacity. And when things happen to me that are beyond my control and beyond my ability to have resources available to address them, and I don't want to make it spiritual, but I within myself am not enough to address everything that life throws at me. Mm-hmm. And I believe that we are designed to be social and to be within community. And I think regardless if you have a faith tilt or if you just study, Abraham Maslow, like we need to belong. Mm-hmm. And so, I just think that's a long stigma that's been held with men for many, many generations.
Men are far more likely to be incarcerated, more likely to commit suicide, and Kirkman believes one thing men can do for one another is show young boys how to become men.
We do have a very large incarceration rate for males. One is we're more prone to commit violent acts. That's one of the reasons why death by suicide is higher, is because men typically will choose more lethal means. So not cuts on the wrist or a mouthful of pills. It's step out in front of something that would lead to an ultimate demise. But the incarceration, again, and looking at it through a diversity lens too, is it is concerning. Why is one of the largest populations of our penitentiaries African American men? And while I think there's a lot of social cues to that that could explain partial parts of it, I think one of the leading parts is that in that community, you have a lot of absent fathers. You have a lot of community members and strong women raising young men, which is great and fantastic, but you cannot deny the stats. There is a lower incident of males being in the house for the long run to show young men what it is to be a real man. And I'm not saying aggressive, authoritative. I'm saying being responsible, being socially conscious, being realizing your words have power, learning how to love appropriately, conflict management, all that stuff. I think one of the biggest things that we could do as men is mentor younger men. because many of them do not have a navigator, and we're learning by trial and error.
Kirkman encourages men to be the first to speak out in a peer-to-peer situation to talk about tough topics. He says you never know where those conversations will lead. Learn more about the Piatt County Mental Health Center by visiting piattmhc.org or find the Piatt County Mental Health Center on Facebook. Social Security is promoting identity theft prevention, and if you happen to become a victim, what do you do in that circumstance? If you're a victim of identity theft, you may never know how it happened if the scammer does not contact you directly. Jack Myers with Social Security explains if they contacted you directly and stole your money, the impact is immediately clear. You may notice they bought items with your credit cards or bank accounts, or even obtain new credits in your name.
If you're a victim of identity theft, you may never know how it happened if they didn't contact you directly. So if it was that first part where they just got your data, either physically or digitally, you might not have a clue it happened. You might not know how it happened. If they contacted you directly and stole your money, the impact of that's immediately clear, right? You know you've lost X amount of dollars. But if it was that first type and they just stole your information, you might not know about it right away. You might not know the impact of it right away. But if it happens, what are some of the things that they can do with that information? And that's something that you want to be aware of, because it can be more of a longer down the road type problem. And they can do things like buy items with your credit cards or your bank accounts. They could obtain new credit in your name. They could actually use your Social Security number to get a job or open phone or utility accounts in your name. They could even steal your tax refund. They could use your health insurance to obtain medical care, or they could actually even pretend to be you if they were arrested. So there are a lot of things they can do with your information.
How do you spot identity theft then? Myers encourages keeping track of your mail for missing bills or other documents, and review credit card and bank statements for unauthorized transactions.
So there are a lot of things they can do with your information. And, how would you spot this sort of thing? Well, you really just kind of have to keep track of all different sorts of things. Watch your mail. If there's something that doesn't show up that you're expecting, a bill, for example, that's a little bit of a red flag. Or if something does show up that you weren't expecting, if they used your actual address, pay attention to that. Don't just shrug it off and say, well, I don't have an account with XYZ company. Why would I get a bill from them? You need to pay close attention to that and look into that. You also should be looking at your credit reports regularly to make sure that they don't include accounts that you haven't opened. And you can get that through a website, www.annualcreditreport.com. There are 3 main credit reporting agencies. It's Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. And you can get 1 report from each of those companies free every year. So you could do them all at once, or you could stagger them throughout the year to keep a real good eye on your credit and what open accounts are out there for you.
No plan, though, is 100% foolproof. However, there are steps you can take to minimize the risk of becoming a victim of identity theft. Myers recommends protecting documents that contain personal information and ask questions before you give out your Social Security number.
Yeah, so, we've talked a little bit about what it is and how to identify it, but let's touch a little on what you can do to prevent it, because it's never foolproof, right? I mean, I wish I could, but I can't sit here and tell you if you do these 3 things, I promise you it'll never happen. Unfortunately, it doesn't work like that, but there are steps you can take to help minimize your risk. So that's really all we can do, right, is minimize the risk. One of the things would be definitely protect your documents that contain your personal information. Shred anything that you're getting rid of. Don't just throw it in the garbage if it's got your personal information on it. Ask questions before you give out your Social Security number. Sometimes there will be a spot on a form where it asks for your Social Security number. If you ask a question, hey, do you really need this? Sometimes they don't. So just don't be afraid to ask those types of questions. Protect your personal information online by using a strong password and multi-factor authentication when offered?
You should report fraud to the company where it occurred and be wary of calls or text messages that come from them. If possible, initiate all contact yourself. You can contact a credit bureau to place a fraud alert on your credit report. Additionally, file a complaint with the Federal Trade Commission at identitytheft.gov or file a police report. For more information, visit the Social Security website, ssa.gov, and look for the publication, Identity Theft and Your Social Security Number. News time is 19 minutes after 7 o'clock here on this Monday. Plenty more to get to coming up on the WHOW Morning Show.
Baum Chevrolet Buick offers full transportation options while giving you peace of mind. This is Scott Baum from Baum Chevrolet Buick here in Clinton. This is what we do every day. We listen to you, give you options for routine maintenance, major mechanical problems, or collision repairs with a staff that's knowledgeable to find the best option for you. Baum Chevrolet Buick, your full-service dealer. See us at baumchevybuick.com right from the start.
News time is 20 minutes after 7 o'clock here on this Monday morning. Again, I'm Seth Lawrence with you folks today for this expanded local newscast. A 47-year-old Taylorville man has been arrested for methamphetamine with possession of methamphetamine with intent to deliver. Nicholas Dyer was arrested May 29th after Taylorville Police Chief Dwayne Wheeler noticed suspicious activity and conduct at a traffic stop. According to records, Dyer had been previously arrested in August of 2021 and was sentenced to 9 years in March 2022 for the same offense. Despite this sentencing, he was released on April 5th of 2024. Chief Wheeler reports he was frustrated with the judicial process as he sees the early releases as harmful to society. The Taylorville police chief adds his department remains vigilant in monitoring individuals released from incarceration and hopes for positive rehabilitation and integration back into the general public, but says police will not allow threats to the community due to premature release. The Illinois Nutrient Research and Education Council, or NREC, was created in 2012 and was funded a large number of projects around the state.
Again, with Farmer and our retail partner investments, we have funded right around $38 million worth of research over that time frame. Which again is a huge investment. And we really have been focused on making sure that we're looking at a diverse geography. That's one of the things that makes us so unique in Illinois compared to our neighboring states is that what works in, Monroe County is definitely not the same thing that works in DeKalb County. And so we really have to make sure that the recommendations and the research that we're doing is specific to the area where those practices are common. So, we've done quite a bit of work in the southern part of the state, looking at phosphorus, because if you look at the nutrient loss reduction strategy and the priority watersheds, phosphorus loss is definitely a bigger concern in that geography. Not that it's, nitrates aren't, and not that phosphorus isn't important in the central part of the state, but looking at ways that we can control that phosphorus loss in the southern part of the state is important. And also understanding, in the central part of the state, we're dealing with, primarily tiled ground, and that's not the case in the southern part of the state. So we really have to understand the agronomic growing conditions from north to south and east to west, because there's obviously differences there as well. That
is NREC Executive Director Julie Hewitt, who says the latest annual report is available at illinoisnrec.org. The summer concert series returns to the Macon County Conservation District's Rock Springs Nature Center this summer for the 8th consecutive year. Every other Sunday this summer, beginning this past Sunday, offers music performances that will fill Rock Springs with various types of music from Americana to bluegrass and folk. The concerts are free and invite citizens out to enjoy with friends and family. Alicia Callison is the Director of Services at the Macon County Conservation District. She encourages bringing a lawn chair to enjoy the shows.
The summer concert series. So this is our 8th year doing these concerts. We, every other Sunday in the summer, we have a free concert here at Rock Springs Nature Center. The first one is this Sunday. So if you're looking for something to do on your Sunday evening at 7 o'clock, come on out to Rock Springs, bring a chair, and just sit back and listen. We'll have a band out called Cactus Ranch, and they have opened our concert series for every year that we've done it.
Wow.
So we're glad to have them back, and then every other Saturday after that, we will have a different group out here playing.
Events like these bring the community together, says Callison, who notes that songs and atmosphere mesh well together.
It is a good opportunity to get outside and enjoy music in nature.
Yeah.
So you're surrounded by the trees, and you can hear, I'm sure we'll hear the cicadas singing along, but you can, you're immersed in the nature while you're there, and so it's a really nice setting. And the type of music that we typically have out here is Americana or country or bluegrass, something rooted in nature as well. So it works together, and people seem to enjoy it. So we hope that we get some more people out here to enjoy it as well.
Rock Springs Nature Center is located at 3939 Nearing Lane in Decatur. Find them on Facebook or Instagram for more. Thanks to a new collaboration between Amazon and the Midwest Food Bank, almost 800,000 pounds of food are in the hands of those fighting food insecurity. Through the Amazon Local Good program, Amazon provides last-mile delivery to support the food bank, providing food to those in need. Patrick Burke is the executive director of the food bank in Normal.
It started out with Amazon reaching out to Midwest Food Bank and really appreciating our model and, fighting hunger across Illinois and the whole country and actually international as well. And I think combining the strengths of Amazon with Midwest Food Bank has been very powerful in being able to do that across central and really all of Illinois. When Amazon, called us and said, hey, we'd like to see if we couldn't partner, utilize our wonderful volunteers. We call that the secret sauce. We can collect the food. Amazon provides the transportation. So you put all those pieces together. Well, now we've opened up and expanded our reach and where we can go get the food.
The collaboration began in 2022 and has developed into a multifaceted effort to address food insecurity. Amazon has been a partner of the food bank since 2022. In the past year, Midwest Food Bank distributed $482 million worth of food. Moweaqua Powwow Days return next weekend, and Mayor Sean Conlon is excited for the community to be brought together for days of family-friendly events. The Powwow Days begin this Thursday through Friday at the Central Park Pavilion, located at 326 Locust Street in Moweaqua. Mayor Conlon describes night one of Powwow and directs the community to their Facebook page for a full list of events.
6 o'clock in our opening ceremony, our Grand Marshals this year, we decided to go ahead with our American Legion post, and it's American Legion and VFW, and so they will be in the parade the next morning, on Saturday morning as well, but they will be at the opening ceremony, and we will recognize them. And then we'll have our pageant on Thursday, and we do a baby contest, a little miss and a junior miss, and then the powwow queen. And then we're doing something a little different this year. We're going to do a teen dance, and we've got a DJ in the pavilion. So we'll just, there's a lot of times people complain that there's not much for the teens to do, and so there'll be a teen dance at 7:30, and of course there'll be food vendors there too as well. On Thursday night, and so you can eat dinner and or get some sweets and watch the powwow pad.
Eric Burgett performs Friday night at 7 o'clock, and Conlon says there's more on Saturday.
Saturday we'll have the parade, and the parade's at 10:30, and also we'll have the car show registration that morning. That's from 10 to 12, and after the parade, as I mentioned, the Grand Marshals are the American Legion and the VFW post. And then from 11:30 to 1:30, the fire department has a chicken dinner, or chicken lunch, I guess it is. And then the car show goes from 12 to 3, and that's on the north and west sides of the park. Last year we had a really good turnout. We had such a good turnout that we even had a fall car show that kind of came out of that. So we hope to do that again this year. And then from 12 to 3, there are the children's games and the pony rides, and the Scoville Zoo is there.
Find more information about the Moweaqua Powwow Days by finding the event on Facebook. News time, 29 minutes after 7 o'clock here on this Monday morning. Coverage of news brought to you by Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton, your Silverado headquarters, and the morning show streams to Facebook and YouTube. Brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton.